Hey everybody. Well, I love seeing your faces virtually. I can't wait to see you all face to face in Charleston, South Carolina, December 4, 5, and 6 for CBP Connects Charleston. I love the world we live in because we have the ability to connect instantaneously through platforms like this, through Facebook, and just way more Zooms than I even need to be on. But there's definitely something special about coming together. And thus far, we've hosted workshops in St. Louis, Missouri. We've been in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're in my hometown of Norfolk, Virginia. So next on the CBP Connects list is Charleston, South Carolina, where we're going to have 12 interactive sessions. We're going to have 3 nightly receptions with beers on CBP. And we're going to have a trade show and so much more. And I'm excited to see you there. So first, I want to get to know you all. For everyone who doesn't know you, Jennings, tell everybody a little bit about what you do in the world of beer.
Yeah, of course. Great to virtually meet you all. I am Jennings Hammack. I'm the creative strategist at Robot House. We are located in Oklahoma City. We're a 6-person creative agency focused on creative storytelling, brand messaging, packaging design, really all things creative. And so we work with a handful of breweries just to tell their stories. I don't want to give too much away about the presentation, but working with them to find what's unique about them and turn that into a story.
Well, Jennings, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've been growing this out for a few months now, so I might, maybe Santa Claus. That could be a good one.
I like it. Amanda? Sorry to cut you off, Jennings.
No, sorry. I was going to say I'm specifically the Sandy Claus from Nightmare Before Christmas, if I had to pick one.
Happy Halloween if anyone's listening live. Amanda, you're up.
Hi, I'm Amanda Camp. I am the owner of Ale Advised, a consulting firm for the food and beverage industry, but specifically today, I'm here as Andrew's assistant. And it's been just an absolute honor to get to know all of you on this call, and hopefully I'll get to see a lot more of you at CBP Connects Charleston.
And I know a couple of you met Amanda in Milwaukee. She held so much of that ship together. It was awesome to have her as my partner in crime on that one. Now, Elise, you were in Milwaukee. You're joining us in Charleston. What do you do?
Hey, my name is Elise Strupp. I'm the event and programming manager at MobCraft Beer here in Milwaukee. We are getting some beautiful snowfall this morning. But at MobCraft, the bulk of my work is spent client-facing. So I plan both our public and private events. But especially at this time of year, we're getting towards the end of wedding season. Most of my time is spent working with clients to help them plan rehearsal dinners, weddings, and then do all internal communications with our team about those events.
How many weddings do you do at MobCraft a year, if you had to guess?
Yeah, this year I think I just had another one booked for December, which is kind of crazy last minute. But I think this year we had 8. And usually they're all pretty condensed. Like we had weddings every Saturday in October of this year. And then we have one in November, one in December. We had one in August. And I think we had one like way earlier in the year. Maybe we only had 7. But I feel like it's still hard to say an average per year since the pandemic, because in 2021, we had way more than usual. And then in 2022, I think we kind of had less than usual. I would guess that between like 5 and 10 is going to be kind of status quo for us. But rehearsal dinners, those we usually do like a 40 to 50 of. We have tons and tons and tons of rehearsal dinners. So
wow. For anyone joining us in Charleston, Elise is going to be talking about something else, but pick her brains on events. She knows so much.
Thanks, Andrew. That's nice.
You're welcome. Brynn, your turn. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Nice to see all of you. I'm Brynn, Keenan. I'm the founder of Grist Analytics. We're a software platform that manages and automates analysis for data from brewhouse to packaging. And before that, I managed quality control at Left Hand and Inland Island East for a long time. So my background's pretty much in quality control, and now I mostly work with breweries through the software.
And you're just moved to the East Coast, so I'm excited to share a beer with you very, very soon.
Yeah. My partner Frank has advised us to not tell anybody that we've actually moved to the East Coast. we're only here for a little while, but we're here for the foreseeable future. But we'll probably go back to Boulder here sometime soon. But we're in Virginia for at least a few more months.
I wasn't going to say where. I was going to let you handle that part.
Yeah, it's been awesome to switch it up for a little while.
Well, and Brynn, you're going to be at your first CBP Connects in Charleston, and you have a Charleston connection, don't you?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Charleston. It's where I got into beer at Holy City, actually, which I think we have an event at one of the.
We will be kicking off our reception at Holy City.
Yeah. So a lot of the people that I love most in the brewing industry live in Charleston, South Carolina. So it's gonna be really fun to go back and hang out with all those guys.
So, how long ago did you leave Charleston?
After I graduated college, so 2014. Yeah, I left. I went to school at College of Charleston too, and then I pretty much immediately went to Boulder afterward.
Well, I'm excited to see you in just a few weeks. But when we get to Charleston, what are you going to be speaking on?
Yeah, so my talk is on data in the brewery, how to really use it for a quality control program, what that means, how to effectively do it, but also how to communicate that you are doing it to customers and through the tap room. We talk a lot about quality, and we kind of equate craft beer with quality because we use what we see as richer ingredients that are more craft from the get-go. But at some point, craft and quality kind of start to separate. And how do you communicate all of this hard work that you're putting into quality through your marketing channels? And how do you educate your taproom folks about that? So how to do it and how to communicate that you are doing it to other people.
And why is it important to you that we're having this talk?
Yeah, I mean, the craft industry is, Gen Z is not drinking as much craft beer. Millennials still love craft beer. We just hit pre-prohibition numbers. I think in 2019, I don't think craft beer is going anywhere. We're back where we should be, but it is getting more competitive and people are becoming more informed. And as it does become more competitive, I think it's critical for us as an industry as a whole to focus on quality and really tighten our craft. And it's critical for breweries as, independent entities to be able to communicate that they're participating in that kind of like maturity of us as an industry so they can make it, as an individual brewery. So I feel like it's kind of critical to our industry as a whole and critical to individual breweries to show that they're a part of that.
No, good explanation there. Now, Jennings, you've spoken at CBP Connects before, but what are you going to be talking about this time around?
Yeah, so entirely different topic, which I think, some of the recurring guests will appreciate. But the title of our presentation is Mighty Malty Marvels, Assembling Your Brewery's Brand Superhero Universe.
5 times really, really fast.
Yeah, I'm reading it off a script right here. So Mighty Malty Marvels. That's the boilerplate. It's really just a discussion of, we're going to use allude to, I should say, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how that can apply to your brewery, where, every brewery is its own unique cinematic universe. How does each beer, represent a superhero of that universe? How does it all work together? How are they uniquely individual? How is Ant-Man tied into the Marvel universe versus Iron Man? And how do they overlap? And that comes to fruition through your branding, your label design, taking each key element of each beer itself, highlighting the unique features, but having it all tie back into the greater universe.
And looking at all that, what do you hope that attendees take away from you and Brian's talk?
Yeah, I think a lot of it will be just mostly about structure. How are breweries structuring their labels? Is it cohesive? Is it uniform? If somebody walks into, let's say, a grocery store and there's 50 different craft beers on the shelf, are they going to be able to pick up one of yours and know that it's from your brewery?
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to learn from you again. You and Brian always bring the energy. And Elise, I am super excited for your chat. You changed your initial topic and we got to a new one, which I think I might even be more pumped for. So what are you going to be talking about this December in Charleston?
So I'm going to be talking about different models of food service in tap rooms. So I've worked at two different breweries that have both taken different approaches to how serve food in the tap room. So I think it's going to be somewhat of like a case study of, hey, here's places I've worked and what we've done. Here's what worked and here's what didn't. But overall, I think most people that have tap rooms have interest in having food because it keeps people there longer. If they're eating, they might get thirsty. They'll drink more beer. So there's definitely lots of financial benefits to be had by serving food in a tap room, but it can be really overwhelming with how labor is right now. It can be difficult. So just looking at some of the hurdles that might prevent someone from having any type of food service, and then looking at several different ways that a tap room could offer food. So hopefully attendees, if they're interested, would be able to kind of align with one that might be attainable for them and their business.
And because you haven't said it, please share the title.
Oh, yeah. So, this pivot in topics required some puns to, keep things exciting. So it's called Let's Talk About Food in Your Tap Room.
I think it's an extremely relevant topic we have right now. I'm so excited for that conversation. So thank you for being willing to speak. Now, for everybody here today, I kind of like to talk about like expectations. Brynn, I'm going to pick on you to start because we've got to know each other virtually. We've hung out a few times, but you've never been to a CBP Connects. I've tried to share the vision a little bit with you over the camera, but like, what are you looking forward to and what do you anticipate when you come to the event in Charleston?
Yeah, well, it sounds like, I've gone to a lot of bigger conferences this year, especially, but I've never been to a CBP Connects. And I'm just looking forward to like a little bit more one-on-one time with everybody to get to know different parts of the brewery as well. So I'm usually kind of pigeonholed into like the hyper technical conferences, and like hearing these like more front of the house talks and marketing talks. Like I'm just excited to learn a little bit more about other areas of the brewery that I don't usually get to like exist in, meet people that work in those areas, and just kind of like have a more casual, friendly time with everybody and have so much time to connect.
You haven't been, but you get it. That's what we're here for. Now, for everyone else who has been, you've been to, each of you has been to one. Jennings, have you been to two?
Just the one. Yeah.
Just one.
Milwaukee was the first one.
What's something that surprised you about Milwaukee? Good, bad, ugly, amazing? What's something you went in blind,
You better say something good.
I have two things. I have a very broad.
You start saying mean things.
I have a very broad overview. One, I want to personally thank the entire city of Milwaukee for such a great experience. It's such a cool town. That was both Ryan and my first time in Milwaukee. We will definitely be going back. The culture was awesome, especially the craft beer culture. A really cool city to do this event. And then more specifically moving into the event, it was better than I could have ever imagined. It definitely was a pretty intimate group. It's one of those things that, as cliche as it sounds, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So thankfully, we were there for the entirety of both days, just talking with people, watching all the terrific presentations about stuff that I had no idea about, beforehand. So really talented speakers, and mostly, loved the overlap. There's so much collaboration with the group, so many events, even though, it's just two sessions. It's, the welcome party happy hour and the happy hours, both nights after the conference, were just such great opportunities to really network and connect on a more face-to-face level than, presenting in front of a room.
And one thing I really loved about you and Brian's session that you gave, you had like that mini talent show going on. I just think of people doing magic tricks. And there was a lot more to it, but we got to know each other pretty well.
Yeah. And we couldn't have lucked out any better. We had, a magician in the crowd for this talent show. And
he was not a plant. He was a real person.
It couldn't have been any better. I was like, oh, I can juggle. And I messed up juggling within 3 seconds of starting. And thankfully, it was like magic. This magician stood up and did one or two really fantastic tricks. So very, very thankful for him for saving the show.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I mean, you come to learn, but you also get to know people on a deeper level. Normally, like Brynn, when you and I have seen each other at industry events, it's a quick hi, hello, yelling at each other's ears. I'm just excited to have more conversations with you and maybe learn if you know how to juggle or have any special superpowers that I don't know of yet.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm not hiding any superpowers up the sleeves, but I am excited to have longer conversations. Maybe you can help me unearth some superpowers that I don't even know I have
I
yet.
think Jennings and Brian will be key in helping with that process.
Yeah, we'll plant you in the crowd.
Struggling.
So, like Amanda, you came in from a different perspective. You were helping a lot behind the scenes, so you got to experience that side of it, how the organizational went, but you also got to enjoy the event too. What surprised you about your experience in Milwaukee?
If I'm being honest, I was a little bit skeptical because I knew you could put on an amazing event, but everyone kept telling me it's like summer camp. And I don't know about you all, but like my summer camp was mostly like mosquito and like spider infested cabins where it rained all the time. So I was not exactly excited to see like a parallel event. But yeah, I mean, I think Andrew, had you handed out friendship bracelets at the end, I really think we all would have been like making them and handing them out. The amount of people that I got to actually have real conversations with that didn't just last, the duration of the event. Like I still keep in touch with almost all of these people. Even if it's just a cheering in the background when they post something on LinkedIn, like, hey, I did this. But still, you don't get that with the big, 2,500 people plus events or things like that. So, and obviously, like everyone's like learning was fantastic. Hearing it from people and hearing their passion behind behind their voices was something else. It just kind of took it to that next level. So I was really impressed.
Are you going to take the lead on making those friendship bracelets for this go round?
I mean, there's a saying at the brewery that I work for that you don't come up with an idea unless you're willing to volunteer as leader. So I guess so. So look forward to those.
Not an official task, but feel free. So Elise, you and I had met very briefly in like a hallway, and I enjoyed your talk at the last Craft Brewers Conference. But in Milwaukee, we actually got to hang out together. Milwaukee's like your backyard. Coming from like a local, we came to Milwaukee and like we were like, hey, we're gonna do this in your city. What were your expectations for the event?
I remember when you initially emailed and were like, hey, can we bring a couple hundred people in to like drink beer at your brewery on a Monday night? And I, again, as our event manager, was like, oh my God, a couple hundred people, like, do we have to close? So I think my initial, not expectation, but like my initial reaction was one of just like coming from the very narrow funnel of booking private events. And then as Andrew and I spoke more and I got a better understanding of what it was, I realized this was really much more of a community event. And because our opening reception fell on Juneteenth, Andrew was really awesome about encouraging MobCraft to think about how we could honor the day and make sure that we were doing some programming. So we ended up partnering with Lifting Lucy, and we had like a charitable aspect to the night. We did a mini makers market featuring like Black makers in Milwaukee. So I think my initial expectation was so far removed from what the experience ended up being. And that was just the first night. So yeah, it was more than I could have ever expected. It ended up being one of my favorite things that I planned or co-planned, or, there was like 5 of us doing that, but for probably the whole year.
I think my problem with these events, there's never enough time to do everything that I want to do. And Amanda, I bet you'll agree with me because, we would get to the venue super early. We'd be the last ones to leave. When you go to a new city, there's so much to experience. It's just not enough time to do it. I almost need to arrive a couple days earlier for these. And Milwaukee was fantastic, Elise.
Yeah, I felt so proud and excited to have all of you there. And, we were in so many excellent locations. And one of the things that's great about Milwaukee is it's not that big. So it's pretty easy to get around. So it was fun to be able to sneak in some like visits to other breweries that weren't part of the formal agenda. Like Amanda and I have a photo from a brewery that's now a different brewery, but it used to be a brewery I worked at. So we were able to kind of sneak in some off the agenda brewery visits too. And those were really cool moments. And I felt very proud to be able to share the brewing history of Milwaukee and those specific locations with people that I had just met. And I was like, come on, follow me across the street. I swear it'll be cool. And like 15 people are behind me like, okay. So yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Well, I know they appreciate you, and I appreciate you so much for being almost our tour guide for so much of the experience. I remember texting you, I think, when I arrived 2 days early, like, hey, Elise, where should I get coffee? Where do I need to go for brunch? I had a lonely Father's Day brunch by myself that you told me an amazing spot, and it was just so great. But
Yeah,
you were clutch with all those recommendations.
You didn't know by asking you were going to get a crazy text message this long in response with all of my favorites. So
it was amazing. So, Brynn, that brings me to you. You've spent some time in Charleston. What are the pro tips? And I know you haven't been there fully because you love Boulder so much, but what are the pro tips for Charleston?
Oh man, the pro tips for Charleston. So Charleston has kind of Charleston's an amazing city. It's like the most beautiful city to just simply walk around the streets and look at stuff. It can also be a bit of an expensive city. It's been in food and wine a bunch of times. It's really known for the culinary and wine and beer side of things. So definitely getting out and seeing some restaurants. But I feel like my favorite thing to do in Charleston that doesn't cost any money at all is to go downtown and just walk around for a couple of hours, get on some small cobble streets, look at the old antebellum style houses. There's so much history in the area. Some of it rough around the edges, but good to appreciate. And the architecture is incredibly beautiful. So I guess that's my biggest pro tip is to soak in some of the history, appreciate it, see the beautiful architecture, and spend some time just roaming around. And then if you've got some cash to spend, maybe pick a couple of restaurants to check out while you're there.
Andrew,
go ahead, Elise.
Sorry, can I ask Brynn a question?
Oh, I love it. Go for it.
Okay. So as someone who's a local, grew up there, what I've been wondering, so I live in Wisconsin. So I'm like, Charleston in December? Heck yeah. What's the weather going to be like?
It could be anything. There is absolutely no telling. It almost guaranteed is not going to be snowing, and anything else is
fair game.
Fair game. Yeah.
Okay.
It gets chilly, but I guess odds are it'll be a little chilly, hopefully sunny and a little chilly. So fall weather elsewhere.
Sounds pretty good.
I can't wait. So, I've never been to Charleston. I'm only 7 hours away, but it's one of those cities I've heard so many cool things about, but I've never had the opportunity to travel to. So I'm really looking forward to, joining all you there, but also experiencing the local culture. We're going to be highlighting 3 local breweries that welcome receptions at Common House, Holy City. Night 2 is going to be at Common House. We're also going to go to New Realms location there. So I'm excited to explore some different breweries in the area. But, as we start to prepare, Jennings, Amanda, and Elise, you've done this before. Is your mindset different at all going into this? Are you going to pack something different? Is there any changes you're going to make to how you're going into this? Maybe drink a little bit more water.
I can go first if other people need a moment to think. I think for me, since this will be my first CBP that's not in the city in which my brewery is and also where I work, it will be easier for me to really immerse myself in the conference experience. I definitely felt some pull, especially at June, which is a pretty busy time of year for private events, to still be focused on my work. Whereas I also heard the summer camp analogy, and I going to a conference is definitely you're more engaged than going on vacation, but it'll be a lot easier to detach from my work responsibilities that are in Milwaukee and to be more present in all of the sessions, which I'm really looking forward to. As far as packing, it sounds like I'm going to need to pack for several different seasons. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to being able to really be fully present and not, distracted by other work responsibilities.
Amanda and Jennings, I'm excited what you're about to say, but Elise, you just nailed it so much on that one. Even when I hosted the one here in Norfolk, Virginia, in my own backyard, it's weird having an industry-wide event where you live.
Yeah.
You're trying to balance your real life with your conference schedule, and it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, they don't work together.
So I would challenge everyone in South Carolina to dedicate these 2.25 days for this. because we're going to these cities. We don't know when we're going to come back. We're excited to showcase you. I think it's really important to be present and meet as many people as you can. I know it's so hard when your brew house is half a mile away and, there could be a disaster happening, but I think it's really important that we take the time to spend it with one another at these workshops. And yeah, it's tough, Elise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited that you'll be out of town, kind of like on a conference vacation, getting able to immerse yourself in all of it.
My analogy, as opposed to summer camp, at least for being in the sessions, it felt like being in like your favorite college class, because it just had like a really easy vibe of being able to like engage in conversation with one another. It definitely didn't feel stuffy. And it just made the learning, which, as several people have addressed, which may be really, I don't want to say irrelevant, but really removed from your line of specific work, it still makes all of that learning really, really fun.
It makes everybody a more valuable team player.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda and Jennings, how are you changing your approach this go around?
Yeah, I don't mind going. First of all, I don't know how I'm going to beat the perfect answer, but for me, it's since Milwaukee was my first one, I had no idea what to expect. I think now I have a little bit more of an understanding of what the event is. I think it all really is about being present for the entire time. So we had the second day presentation right out the gate, and we're just presenting as people are kind of walking in, and so it's easy to oversleep for the second day, but I do think there's a lot of value in being there for the full amount of time, and that's one thing. Kind of going back into leaving work behind a little bit. I like the saying "hang up and hang out," and so there's several times in Milwaukee that I need to step out because I need to make a phone call, or I need to send an email, or one or two other things. So it really is about being plugged into the conference. So that's one thing that I'm going to be better about. Just taking care of my work in Oklahoma City before I travel, and then when I'm there, I can be 100% committed to being around.
And Jennings, quick follow-up for you. One thing I love about Robot House and all the other 19 industry partners that come to support CBP Connects, you all come to build relationships. I know so often when you find industry suppliers and partners at a trade show, they're trying to sell you something, but that's not really the approach at CBP Connects. Why is it important for you to be able to build these relationships?
Yeah. I mean, so I don't think that we come in with like a sales pitch. I really hope it doesn't come off like that. We just personally love craft beer. This is the most fun industry that there is. We work with plenty of lawyers and accounting firms. Those are a little bit less exciting than the craft beer industry. So for us, it's a little bit of a passion project. We love doing it. It's all about, we love the networking side of it. We just love it. It helps our work with our existing clients because we get to see what other people in the industry across the country are doing and what's successful for them, and what's been working, and how is that how can we turn that into something valuable for for our clients. I do want to plug on the back end part of the networking. Tomorrow we're actually flying to Kalamazoo, Michigan, because of a relationship we built in Milwaukee with One Well Brewing. So we'll be there for the back end of the week. I'll probably bring the Santa suit with me if it's snowing in Milwaukee. I'm sure it's going to be snowing over there, but so it really is so much relationship building. And it's great. And part of it, Brian, my boss, has been to a few of these, and we roll into Milwaukee, and he's all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, I need to kind of be with you because I don't know anybody, and he just lightning in a bottle, just bouncing around to every single person that he met at the previous conferences, which was a huge resource for me too, just to meet people. But it is lasting relationships. It's not just a one-off, only in Charleston or only in Milwaukee experience.
No, you're gonna have so much fun in Kalamazoo. I'm glad you met the folks over at One Well. They're good people. Yeah,
they've been a lot of fun, and we're excited to see what comes from it. But I learned that they call it K-Zoo, so we've been calling it the K-Zoo. Us locals,
Are there any nicknames we should be calling Charleston?
Oh, like what the locals call it? Chucktown is kind of the big one.
Good tip. Now, Amanda, we'll finish that question with you. Not what we're going to call Charleston, but are you planning any differently for this event?
If I'm being 100% honest, I'm
You're
going
going to bring
to
more beer. Please tell me you're bringing more beer.
Well, I'm flying, not driving this time. So I was kind of where I was going, as I learned my lesson last time to, number one, stay hydrated. Because running around, you kind of forget, like, oh yeah, I need to actually hydrate myself and not just, take everything into my head. But one, like the Tuesday night, so not even the last night, which I feel like would have been more apropos. A bunch of us were staying at the same hotel and decided that we were all going to share the beer that we brought that was left over. And I kept saying, guys, I have to get up early. Like, I have to be one of the first ones there. I need to go to bed. That didn't happen. So Wednesday morning was rough. So I guess my biggest piece of advice and things I'm going to do differently is I'm going to set a bedtime and absolutely stick to it, no matter how good the conversation is.
So one thing I've learned from 3 CBP Connects thus far is you never know which one of the nights is going to be that night. The one you go a little bit longer, because each of the 3 so far, it's kind of changed up. So I don't think we have any consistency there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Charleston. But I mean, when we were hanging out in Milwaukee in the Paps Hotel, there's like massive kettles right next to us in that beautiful old brewery. I mean, you just wanted to stay up all night long.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even that everyone was like, getting drunk or anything. Everyone was just really enjoying the conversation, sipping all kinds of different beer. Like, it definitely wasn't that, it was like the party vibe. It was, oh, we're having this really in-depth conversation and we just don't want it to end. So it was really nice. But Wednesday morning, when I had to be at the event space at 7:30, that was not my ideal morning. Let me put it like
Just
that.
so everybody knows, there will be coffee flowing all day. We will have plenty of water. We're going to have a beer break in the afternoon. We're going to have lunch for you, and we're going to have your beers covered each night at the reception. So there's going to be a lot of stuff on CBP to make it easy. All of this is thanks to our industry partners that help make this possible. Folks like Arryved and all the folks you'll meet at the trade show there. We could not do this without them. So huge thanks to all of them. I can't wait to see all of you there. There's still time to grab your registrations for everybody listening. You can just go to cbpconnects.com or hit the link below. Now, Jennings, we started with you. We're going to end the last circle of questions with you. So
yeah, great.
My question for you is, as we wind down, why should others absolutely join you at CBP Connects Charleston?
Well, in short, because it's a lot of fun. CBP Connects is great. That's probably the most umbrella answer ever, but more specifically, it is a blast. I love Milwaukee. We already planned our flights for this for 2024, beyond even beyond Charleston. So this is a great organization. We've had so much fun. You really
I'm
do
not
make.
Gonna say where, but you've already booked your flights for next year.
We started looking at them. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of my skis there to keep the wintry metaphor going. Already kind of started looking at some preliminary flights. Don't want to give anything away, but so we will be there. This is, we've had such a great time with it. We love being able to travel to these really unique, cool cities, and then beyond that, we really enjoy all the relationship building in between.
Love it. We'll see you in about 35 days. Amanda, your turn.
I think for me, the biggest thing is challenge yourself. I think anytime that you go into a space that's this intimate, where you get to learn all this stuff and talk to all these people, I feel like it's really easy, especially speaking as an introvert, to kind of just focus on why am I here, whether it's the session or helping behind the scenes or, what have you. But as Jennings said, like, you get out of it what you put into it. So I would say it's a great opportunity to see, if you challenge yourself, what all you can learn, how you can be of service in other spots. Like Elise said, the front of house sessions, and Brynn talked about the front of house sessions versus the back of house where she's used to, and everything like that. So I think it's a great way to challenge yourself with the best results.
Yeah, and the goal is to have something for everyone. No matter what your role is at the brewery, is going to make you a stronger team player. And Amanda, what is your Halloween costume?
I'm a flying squirrel. Wings and everything.
Love it. Elise?
I'm going to do an easy one. You should join me at CBP Connects so we can have a beer together. I just want to be friends. Let's just hang out. Go find some other brewery that's not on our official agenda. Yeah.
Honestly, I'll second that. It's a little selfish sometimes. I get to see some of my favorite people of the world when we come together for these events, and you actually get to hang out versus like that crowded tap room, or at least when you're running a million miles an hour at MobCraft, you're going to get to actually relax a little bit this go around.
Well, I got to relax the next 2 nights, so I'm not complaining about that, but I get 3 nights this time.
Love it. See you soon. And Brynn, you're coming back to Charleston. Watch everybody else join you.
Yeah, I think Charleston's a beautiful city. I'm really excited to meet some of these people I see in the comments section all the time. I'm excited for the next like off the hook comment section to have a bunch of faces that I've had a beer with, and I know who they are and can put a brewery and a face to the name. And specifically the talk, I'm actually really excited to talk about quality with a bunch of different kinds of positions in the brewery and see what sort of questions come out of that. I think there's like kind of a beautiful thing that comes with talking about something that some people know a ton about to a huge group of people. I think this applies to all of these talks, where the people who may know a ton about quality get to hear some of the newer questions from folks that are just starting to learn about it. And I think those new questions can often be really, really insightful, even for people who know a lot about a topic, which is something I'm excited about for my talk, and everybody else's as well.
No, I'm excited about that for your talk as well. I mean, so we've got from quality to food to branding and so much more. We've got something for everybody. I can't wait to see you all in person in December 4, 5, and 6 in Charleston, South Carolina for CBP Connects. Everybody else, be sure to grab your spot now, and we'll see you soon. We all can't wait to share a pint. So see you in Charleston. Safe travels. Bye, everybody.